we also have to understand something about the way things happened at the AI summit, that photo session that took place, and the manner in which the Prime Minister, along with all the AI leaders, were holding hands and raising them up together. All of them were from the top AI panel, the Western panel. Not They were not our own AI leaders, but instead they were all Western AI leaders. So regarding the question you all have been asking me for the last 3 years, so many followers, sir, America has this, the West has this and that. I used to repeatedly answer that the West has nothing. It is the Western companies that do. Do you understand? The West itself has nothing at all. It is the Western companies that have it. Right. So for people who have this misconception that, sir, the West is so far ahead, sir, America is way ahead of us. America is not ahead. American companies are. Are you getting it? And these companies have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with nationalism. Western companies, I mean, they will go wherever they can find a profit. So people tend to forget that in the West, it is the companies that run the government. The government does not run the companies. So it does not matter what Trump does or says. It is a very simple thing. No matter how much AI you implement, how much robotics you do, whatever you do, until a human consumes it, there is no profit to be made. That is precisely why all of them were standing in line with the Prime Minister. Because the humans who are going to consume, only our country has that birth rate left. Everyone else has gotten old. So the companies know exactly where the profit is going to come from. Therefore, they will have to follow our rules. They will have to follow our localization rules. Our rules that say for a 16-year-old child, there will be regulations, there will be parental controls, and your big tech company will not be able to access them. So they are going to have to follow those rules. In fact, the French president even went so far as to publicly say that the Prime Minister should do this, to save children from these big tech companies. And for a statement like that to come out during an AI summit, especially when this has already been implemented in Australia, that children under 16 will not get access. Children up to the age of 16 will not get access without parental permission. So I think the Prime Minister also highlighted this well in his speech and also mentioned it, that these regulations are going to be absolutely necessary. And in his speech, he introduced a whole new concept, which he called Manav. And then he gave a detailed explanation for each and every letter. He explained that it should be ethical, it should be moral, it must have accountability, and it must have verifiability. So when people ask me about AI for the last 2 or 3 years, I would give this answer that we will have to ask 2 or 3 questions. If someone is working on AI, they have to ask, is this going to improve law and order? Is this going to make people's health better? Will societal unity increase because of this? If so, then go ahead and work on that AI. Right. So 4 or 5 questions I was repeatedly asked, like, sir, what kind of regulation for AI? The Prime Minister answered in that direction, giving a human-centric concept in which he's clearly saying that if any work is happening on AI, it must also be morally and ethically compliant. So can you really maintain social order by laying off people en masse? No, it cannot be done. Because in the Bharatiya Dharmic ethos, work is not just described as a means of earning money. It has not been said like that. In Sanatan Dharma, it is said it is Purusharth, which is Purush plus Earth. Purush plus Earth, that is Purusharth, is what work has been called. Meaning, this is not just a simple means of earning. A healthy human body must be deployed in some kind of productive work. It is absolutely necessary. It is necessary for one's own life. So you should think about it. This entire collection of Western demonic intellect that has gathered, which is thinking that we will distribute cash to everyone for free, lay them off, and then give them universal basic income, a high income. This demonic way of thinking, they do not realize that work is not only for the purpose of making money. It is very necessary to deploy a healthy human body in productive work for at least a few hours. Otherwise, what will they do just sitting idle? Just think. Is not that right? If you make a healthy adult man sit at home for 6 days without any productive work, just try it and you will find out what all can happen. So then these people who are thinking that they will give away free money, this and that, this universal basic income, yeah. So regulating AI is very, very important. And this question is definitely going to arise. By the end of this century, this question will certainly come up, that a lot of countries will go ahead and create regulations, but will they have the political will required to implement those regulations? Will that leader be able to show that, will, if his election campaign is being funded with money from these very companies, and then if that leader gets elected, do you think that company is going to abide by the AI regulations? Will that political leader even be able to enforce those rules when he got his own election campaign funded with that very same company's money? This is the problem with capitalism, right? The problem with extreme capitalism in the West is that companies have taken over the government, right? Over there, they have officially given corruption the name of lobby business in America. Lobby business, a proper invoice is actually generated for the corruption. They do not call it corruption, they call it lobby business. So this is the main thing, that now how much political will can politicians show? Regulations will be made. You will also find plenty of experts to create the regulations. All governments of all countries will find them. But will that leader even have the political will to enforce the law? So this is long term. I am talking about the entire century for all the countries. So making regulations is absolutely essential. And after they are made, ensuring they are deployed is extremely important. So it is very important for us to remain alert about this one thing. Especially I hear a lot of these arguments online where people will tell me, sir, when computers came, sir, it was the same back then too. So nothing wrong has happened. You will find a lot of people from the IT and tech sectors making arguments just like this, who will say that, sir, even when the computer innovation first came, a lot of people became unemployed, but then things settled down, right, sir? New kinds of jobs were created. This is something they don't understand. That out of 5,000 available job positions, if only 2,000 new job positions were created, that means 3,000 people were laid off. But with AI, what is going to happen is that the number is going to go from 5,000 straight down to 10. This is not at all similar. This innovation is not the same kind as when computers came. This is not that one. At that time, out of 5,000, maybe 3,000 lost their jobs, and only 2,000 got jobs of some kind. 2,000 people learned whatever. This time, from 5,000, only 10 jobs will remain. Do you understand? I am talking about a few years from now. So this useless comparison that many people will argue with you, technology has changed before too. Has not it, sir? So nothing happened. This is not a nothing happened case. This is a very big impact, right? So the people who do not understand why AI regulation is so necessary, they really need to understand. And we have a massive population. We do not have a small Western population size where it is okay if some people become unemployed. So the government absolutely should and most certainly will have its eye on this. And also, we should also keep an eye on it, because as I say, after some time, companies will give their employees targets during their appraisals on exactly how many man hours you have saved, which means how many people you got removed from their jobs by using your AI skills. That will be seen as your performance. So companies will obviously do anything for their profits. Therefore, if society and the entire nation want to protect themselves from such challenges, then you must start grooming children for self-employment and for being enterprising right from a very young age. Are you understanding this? If you want to save our society and the nation from these kinds of challenges, then you must prepare the child for entrepreneurship and self-employment from a very young age. You should prepare them so they do not even have to look for a job role. And this preparation can indeed start from a very young age. right? Those 15 to 20 years that you are making them waste confined inside the four walls of a classroom. Instead of doing that, teach them 3 or 4 really good skills and then deploy that child into the real market, right? In 5 to 6 years, they will reach break even, no profit, no loss, quite easily, by building a team. So rather do this instead of getting some piece of paper, a degree. You do not even know what will happen to that degree after 2030. No one is even going to touch that paper. As far as I understand, all papers will become skill based then. Every 3 to 4 months, after updating skills, a new paper will be required. That single paper is not going to work after 2030. This idea of a 15 to 20 year career will not be a thing after 2030. So we have to prepare them for that, for this new world order.